Welcome to Two Guys Garage. You see that? Oh, that is not a Pontiac Trans Am.
And it's not a Fiero kit car either. It's a genuine Factory 5 GTM supercar.
Fresh out of the paint shop.
Careful.
Oh, don't touch it.
Corvette powertrain. Got a few add-ons to do today.
Genuine American muscle. Don't go anywhere.
Open.
Fresh paint, come on.
Oh, man, check that out.
Don't faint on me.
Oh, I'm gonna try not to. How can you not? I mean, look at the Corvette powertrain, all aluminum engine, Porsche 6-speed gearbox.
You have one of those, don't you?
I have one of those engines, but I don't have one of these cars. I don't have one of those gearbox. I don't have all this other cool stuff.
Well, I think you should.
I should.
Now, this is obvious. This is a beautiful car. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Super low height. And what this is a kit, so you can get basically a supercar for, I mean, way under the $300,000 price tag that you're normally going to pay for something that has 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Yeah. You know, everywhere you go, people are going to stop, and not to mention you can obviously do it sideways, off the road, of course.
Yeah. Now you may have to put a little bit of sweat equity into it, but I'm willing to sweat a little bit to get a ride like this.
Sure.
Well, to get this thing running, we're going to have to finish off the wiring system. And the smartest guy I know for wiring systems is my buddy Jay Harris here.
What's going on, guys?
How we doing, Jay?
Power.
Excellent. Wiring a car like this or whatever you're working on really hasn't changed. If you go all the way back to the Model T, you've got some box somewhere that's got fuses and relays all in one place. And then you run wires to every corner of the car that turns on your headlights and your turn signals, starter, and ignition. And what you get out of that is a bundle of wire. A bundle of wire that you've got to hide somewhere in the interior. You've got to hide it through a transmission tunnel. We've done something different. We take that process and cut it in half. So we start with what we call our master cell, and that's the brains. That does all the thinking in the system.
Like that guy, or
our
you.
brains, right here. That master cell goes off and talks to the power cell, which is the muscle.
Yep.
So that's what does all the heavy lifting in the system. So it's as simple as you put your master cell in the car where you need it. You take your switches. You plug your switches. You could do that right now. Plug your switches in that connector right there. You've now wired your entire dash into that system.
Ooh, that was
done. I like that.
easy.
All right, now go get us a car.
All right, let me go get a car. I've got your basic small supercar.
There you go. Now, you're going to plug that into this connector right here. You have now connected all of your outputs from the power cell out.
I'm good.
You're great. We're going to go off and connect the two boxes together with this data cable right here, and we're going to give it power. Power's going to come through that cable right there. And that's it. The only thing you have going front to back of the car right now is just this thin data cable, this little bundle of wires that passes the commands from the master cell to the power cell.
That's cool. That's really easy to package. That's nice.
It's easy to hide under carpeting. It's easy to hide through a transmission tunnel. So again, it's as simple as switches go into the master cell issues commands to the power cells turns things on and off.
Make it sound so easy.
So it is. So if you want to go off and turn on the lights, all you do is flip the switch, and you can see right there the lights coming on in the car right there.
Cool.
Now, Jay, we're all familiar with simple toggle switches, but what about like push-button starter, more complicated features?
This could be as simple as you take it out of the box, you wire it per the manual with no configuration at all, or if you want to make your car stand out, you want to give your car some personality, there's all kinds of customization we can do to do features just like that, whether it's dimming or timing or sequences or push-button start functions. That's all in the system that we can use.
Yeah, now you try to do that as is with a normal fuse box setup. You've got to have all these kind of different relays. They end up all over the place.
Our whole goal is to take all those extra modules you need, including things like radio functions. We can do security and alarm through a key fob, and that's all built right in the master cell here. You don't need separate boxes to bolt on to get those functions.
What I like about your system is you start talking about brains and all this functionality, and it gets a little bit scary, but being around engines for so long, they were really simple in the beginning, and they started adding little sensors and widgets, and they got harder and harder to work on. But eventually, EFI became like a no-brainer. You drop on a harness, you plug in a box, and a complicated engine fires up and runs and does all the things that it should. But it was a very painful process to get there. Tons of functionality, a long road. You guys have sort of skipped all that. You've taken wires which are simple, but fuses and relays, and then with the complex things that we can do to them now, you've put it all in that box, and basically I can plug and play.
And that's the whole goal, is to really make it a no-brainer, where the average guy in his garage can plug these modules together, wire switches, wire outputs, and he's done. He's ready to go.
Well, we've got a lot more on this. We're gonna go ahead and put it in the car, show it running, try to get it fired up, and see how this thing works, so stay tuned.
What's the easiest way to keep power-robbing engine deposits from building up in your vehicle's engine? We'll have the answer after the break. What's the easiest way to keep power-robbing engine deposits from building up in your vehicle's engine? Use a top-tier gasoline, which contains adequate amount of detergents, and keep your vehicle serviced according to the manufacturer recommendations. Adding Z-Max will also help to disperse and remove the economy-robbing buildup on the valves and pistons. This tip is brought to you by Z-Max. Performance you can feel.
Got the front power cell right here.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Two Guys Garage. I've got my good electrical guru, Jay Harris here from ISIS Power, and we're installing the ISIS Power electrical system here. Before we plug everything in, we'll walk you through a couple of steps that you're probably familiar with wiring. First step is you got to get power from the battery. Everything is included in the kit. We've got a 4-gauge heavy-duty wire. That's going to go to our block of fuses, our main fuses, and from there, we'll feed our power cells. And we can put a power cell anywhere we need power in the vehicle. So we've got one up front, and we're going to put one in the rear, and from there, basically we can take our inputs. Now our inputs are simple. All I got to do is read the color coding. If I've got a starter, I hook up these 2 wires. If I've got AC, I need power, I hook up these 2 wires. If I've got hazard lights, anything else, turn signals, I splice them in, I connect it in the box, the brain is ready to go. Now how are you doing over there on the power cell side?
Just checking all the wires here. So you got power coming from the battery.
Yep.
That power goes through that fuse box. I'm going to actually go off and connect the power connections here to the power cell. And each power cell gets its own set of wires like this. So if you want to go off and take that input connector, after you get that mounted, and plug it into the master cell.
Yeah, I've got basically everything from the steering column inputs, AC, you name it, everything has been wired right into this connector. And once I snap it in here, now our car is basically wired and ready to go.
Okay, and then I'm going to go off and connect the output wires. Now we've already snaked through the car the wires going from the power cell to the accessories. This power cell right here is doing all the front functions in the car, so you can imagine that the longest length of wire is from this to that corner. We actually have, the last thing to do here is actually get these fog lights wired up, so I'm going to plug in the output from the power cell into the light bulb, and I'm going to ground it here through the other terminal. So that's it. We just wired that entire circuit, switch into the master cell, power from the power cell. Kevin, if you want to plug the data cable in.
Yeah, that's pretty much the last step.
That's really the last step.
So we're connecting the brain with the brawn with basically a data cable.
Exactly.
And now we're ready.
And we're ready to go, because that master cell is connected to this power cell and the other power cell we have in the rear here. Where this one does everything in the front, this power cell in the rear is going to do the ignition and the starter, the back light cluster. And one of the important things here is you can see where that power cell is. It's actually in the engine compartment. You know this engine. This thing runs hot. You're generating a lot of power, a lot of horsepower here. That power cell is rated up to 125 degrees C.
It's about, what, 250 F?
Yep, and that's kind of what the OEM standard is for the engine compartment. And it's also been through mechanical shock and vibration and salt fog and salt spray and all the chemical exposures that an OEM system has to go through.
Extremely durable unit, salt sprays, corrosiveness. I mean, it's ready to handle just about anything you throw at it, minus mounting it to a header, which is probably a no-no.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put any electronics on a header. But one of the other important things is, like, we have customers who put these in four-wheel vehicles. They're doing off-roading, or they're doing Baja, and at the end of the day, they wash the whole thing down to get all the sand, all the grime off. Everything in here is sealed, so all the gaskets on the covers, all the gaskets on the bottom. We're using OEM quality connectors that actually are sealed, and they're intended to actually be run underwater. So it's really set up to handle whatever abuse your vehicle is going to go through.
It's made for real-world use.
Absolutely.
And as you just saw, we plugged everything in. It's made for plug-and-play type of action, which is great.
Yep.
Now that we've got this thing live, we should probably take a break, add some power, basically the battery. We can come back, fire the system up, and see how it came. So stick around, we'll be right back.
All right, see that nice little stack of dimes right there? That's why I love the TIG. So nice,
doesn't make any spatter. So what I'm gonna do today is just kind of show you a few little ways to get your torch set up. Now, this is your tungsten. The electricity is gonna go through, melt the metal, and then you're gonna dip in your rod. Get your cup, which has the shielding gas. For this, we're gonna be using argon, and put this out to a distance that you like. Now, I use something like that if I'm gonna be doing an inside corner weld. You're gonna do it shorter if you do an outside corner weld, because what you're trying to do is keep that shielding gas around the steel or aluminum in order to keep it from oxidizing. Now, come down the bottom. I'm gonna show you kind of a way to get set up. Now, usually about 85 degrees is a good angle for your torch head. Keep your tungsten as close to the metal as you can, right about a 1/16 of an inch. Take your filler rod, right about 15 degrees, move it along, dipping, slowly going along. Next thing you know, watch out, you're making stack of dimes on your own. So get out there, get a Lincoln Precision TIG 225, start welding, and make yourself your own little stack of beads.
This tip is brought to you by Lincoln Electric, the welding experts.
All right, we're back in our Ask the Host section. Now we're getting a lot of emails in. This one's from Robert. I got a 64 Chevy pickup. I need to know what size motor came in it, how to find the VIN, etc., etc. Now, when you get into looking at a car like this, we're gonna look at a 72 Chevelle just for an example. Now there's a stamping number on the front that we've read off. It's T0307CKD. Now we took that, we went on the internet and found some resources. There are a lot of them to find. But basically, the T in this means that it came in the Tonawanda plant. And CKD, which is at the end, means it's 350 CID, it's 175 horsepower, it's 4-barrel, and it came with a turbo hydro 350 transmission. So that would tell us this is a factory matching numbers car. The engine came with this. It's all correct. So basically, look at your engine, take that number down, look on the internet, and you can find out a lot of information about your car.
Hey, welcome back. We're at probably the most exciting point in the project for me. We've got months and months of labor, meticulous labor, putting this thing together, and we've just given it life. Now, if I look over here at the brain, or the master cell, it's starting to talk to me already, Jay.
So
Tell me what's going on.
What do you see?
Well, I see normal, normal, normal.
Normal's great.
Normal's
Normal means
good.
that
Sounds
everything's
good.
healthy and happy. But even before I look at that screen, the first thing I do when I put one of these things in is I look at that comm light. See that little blinking blue light?
Yep.
That's the heartbeat. There's a corresponding heartbeat in every power cell. There's one on the rear, one right here. Every time that light blinks, the master cell calls out to all of its kids and says, hey kids, where are you and how are you doing? And they all call back and say, we're healthy and happy. And if you've got the blinking light, that means the system's connected correctly.
So this thing's making phone calls all the time.
Exactly.
Making sure that
Call
everything's
home to mom.
good. I've got all my, basically telling me everything's normal. I've got heartbeats that says everything else is connected like it should be. So far, I mean, everything you've told me about this thing being a brain, I'm getting right now.
Okay, so now go flip a switch.
All right, I'll turn the headlight on.
Okay, turn that light on. So the first thing you see when you flip that switch is if you look at the screen, it's going to give you a confirmation of the switch. So it says switch number 4, it's going to this target power cell and that target node. So you can open up the manual right here and confirm that your switch is wired correctly. And so you know the switch is going to the right place, and then if you look, when you turn the switch on, that works. If you look over here on the power cell, there's an LED on every output. So when the switch is on, that LED here is on. So I can confirm that the power cell has gotten the command too. So in just those couple of steps, I know the switch is good and the load is working correctly.
But yeah, I never even got out a voltmeter or a continuity checker, and already I know that my switch is actually talking to the brain. The brain is talking to the power cell, and the power cell is sending power to whatever it is I'm trying to function.
It's that easy. Now let's do something even simpler. Turn that switch off. Let's go disconnect that headlight. So reach up there and pull that connector out.
All right.
All right, so we have broken the circuit to the headlight. So now try and turn the switch on again. So think about this process. All of a sudden you're trying to do something that stops working. Yeah, the first thing you do is you take your multimeter and you go through the entire electrical system. We in 3 steps can point to exactly where the problem is in the car. So flip your switch. Again, you get the confirmation right there that your switch is working correctly.
Okay, so I know this part is working right.
Right, check your heartbeats. So
Okay.
you get a heartbeat there and a heartbeat there. So, you
So
know
now
the
I know
cells-
that right is working right.
Correct. With the switch is on, that LED is on, which means the power cell's got the command and it's turned the output on. But now if you turn that switch off and you look at that LED here on the output for the headlight, it's actually glowing dim. And what that means is somewhere in the chain you've lost your connection to ground. So either the fuse has opened up, a wire has broken somewhere, or the actual filament in the light bulb is burned out.
So the system basically just told me just about what's wrong with it. Something from the power output to the light has been broken somewhere. So I
Exactly.
can really do a quick continuity on that. Short wire or check the bulb and I'm done.
Correct. It's
I'm
that
not
easy.
chasing anything and I haven't even pulled out a tool. That's fantastic.
It's that easy.
That's the smartest electrical system or harness I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Okay, well we've got a lot of other neat features that come with this package and its personality. We haven't even talked about that yet. So we've wired in some of the easy things like lights, but blinkers, that's not so easy. Right now, we're just flipping a switch, but your computer is actually controlling the blinker function, right?
No electromechanical flash running in the car. A lot of guys call and say, hey, I have LED turn signals. Where do I put the load resistor? In this case, there is no load resistor because the switching's done in the master cell, not actually at the bulb.
Well, that opens up the door to do a lot of really neat things. So when we come back, we're going to start walking you through some of the functionality that you can add on top of the simplicity that we just showed you. So stay tuned.
All right, welcome to the break room. Now, the reason we call it the break room is that we're always breaking stuff because we're using too much horsepower. And one of the first things that's going to go is your clutch. This is from Spec Clutches and Flywheels. It's the Spec Super 10. It'll fit the 6.1 Hemi, LSX, all small block Chevy, big block Chevy, all the Ford V8 applications. Basically, this thing will hold 1,300 pounds of torque. Almost stock drivability. It's going to be fully rebuildable, upgradable, downgradable, whatever you're going to do. It's billet machine to 1,000th of an inch tolerance. So no matter what, it's going to have perfect balance, rotational integrity. This is a great clutch. If you break one, call Spec Clutches and get one for yourself. All right, next one we have here is from Armadillo Industries LLC. And this is their truck screen. What this does, protects your outer body of your truck. And look at there, you can get your own company logo, sports teams, anything like that. So when you're on the job site, not only are you protecting while you're in and out, but you're also showing people who you are, where you can be found. And if you have a truck, like a truck box, this will fit on there also. You don't have to drill. It installs in minutes, and you can do from like 42-inch bed all the way up to 96, so it can fit all kinds of different beds. Very easy. You can also change these screens in and out in minutes. Very easy to use. Very cool product from Armadillo Industries. Next thing we have is from Pirate Jack Hot Rod Restoration. This is a disc brake kit for the AFX body GMs. Now that's like 60s Camaros, 60s Cutlass, the Novas, all that GM era through there. This is going to convert you over. Comes with everything you need. It's engineered to bolt in, so there's no welding. Drilled and slotted rotors, which are really nice. Stainless steel braided hoses, chrome master cylinder, chrome booster, got your proportioning valve here. So inside is going to look good. All your components are going to work nice. It's got the dust shield, the spindle, everything you're going to need to bolt this on, convert over to disc brakes. Really cool product from Pirate Jack Hot Rod Restoration. Okay, next thing we have is from Stage 8 Fasteners. These are mechanically locking fastener, and what we've used them on are a header application. You're going to have a lot of heat cycles. It's really going to want to pull those off. They're never going to go. They're made out of grade 8, 4130, nickel-plated steel, so they're super strong. They're guaranteed to stay tight no matter what you use them in, no matter how tough your situation, no matter your environment, these are going to stay locked. Now, if you look at how this works, they come with a little clip, goes on, and basically it keeps it from spinning. You put this on, then there's a C-clip that pops, nowhere to go. Each part number is designed and engineered for your part, for your application, guaranteed to stay home from Stage 8 Fasteners. Now, be sure you send in your videos, send in your pictures, and check out our website.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speedtv.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com.
All right, I see how this is going to be. I'm the crash test dummy. Bring in the expendable, human.
You think you can squeeze
There we
yourself
go.
in there?
Yeah,
How's that feel?
yeah, that's actually comfy.
Yeah, you think
Once
you got
you
enough
get
left
in,
in you to Hit that start button.
Got to stretch out before you sit. Yeah, she's all ready?
Yeah.
All wired
All
up?
wired up, ready to go.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So
Uh-oh.
Now I'm just the dummy.
now you're just a dummy. So now one of the things we talked about ways you can go off and upgrade the car and add more functions. This is actually our InLink wireless system, which is a key fob where you can control anything in the car wirelessly through a switch. You also get the security functions with it. So when I lock here on the key fob, you can see that message up there on the Insight module on the master cell that security's on. So when you push the starter button,
You do
you're going to get a message say, sorry, you can't start this car. And it's not done at the switch, it's actually done inside the master cell.
Huh.
So if you were to try and hotwire the car, in there it says you can't start it until you unlock it from the key fob right here. You get a message that comes off, now it's ready to go.
Very nice. So you got basically a security system along with your electrical system.
Now, one of the upgrade features we have here, this is one of the personalities, is the push button start. So you push and hold that button. The ignition comes on and the starter cranks. When the engine turns over, you let it go, but the ignition stays on. When you want to shut it off, you push the button one more time.
That's cool. So you can do all kinds of customizable stuff really easily. And how many can you do with that remote?
You can do 16 functions on this one key fob right here.
Now there's only 4 buttons.
Well, so there's a shift button here on the side that goes through different pages. So you get 4 pages of 4 buttons.
Wow.
So
Cool.
basically, any switch that you've wired in there, anything in there, whether it be your windows, your lights, anything, you can basically remotely control that from there.
Right, so we have guys who go off and put an air ride in a car, and they want to, when they push a button on the key fob, have the car settle down or have the car come up, all off the key fob right there.
Yeah, enough of this,
So fire it up and
raising
see
and
what it
low. You
does.
ready?
Very nice.
I like it.
That's what we're talking about.
All right.
That sounds good.
So it works. So again, what you did, the master cell sent the command to the power cell, which fired the starter, all there in the system right there.
Now the beautiful thing too is that once you get it all running, we haven't even tuned it. I mean, we just plugged it in. This baby's rolling.
It's ready to go.
So, unfortunately, we're out of time. Next time, hopefully, we get to tune this baby, drive it, get everything together. This thing's gonna be looking sweet.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
All right. Come back. We'll see you.